All right, welcome to the first annual Badasses of the First Half. Essentially, our weird all-star ballot nominations from the 5 teams that we cover here: the Cubs, Sox, Tigers, Giants, and A's. Basically, we assemble our own all-star team from those rosters. I just took the MLB all-star ballot and pulled all the names off of that from those 5 teams, and then it's funny, the MLB doesn't include WAR in the stats. They give it a little stat line for all the players involved. They give average, which is hilarious that people are still using average. By the way, if you're voting for someone or choosing to vote for someone and choosing against someone based on their batting average, you, you're a relic. You don't understand baseball, especially when OPS is listed right next to it almost. If you don't understand the value of OPS versus average, I hope you don't listen to this podcast. Or if you do, please learn something from this. But OPS is far more indicative of a player's offensive prowess than average will ever be. They also include RBI, which I think is kind of funny still, and home runs, of course, which is always valuable. But they didn't include stolen bases or WAR, which I think is kind of funny. But so I added in stolen bases on our own. So I made up my own basic rankings to nominate my players. So I put those all in order for you to read over there. But we go position by position and build our own badasses of the first half. And then when we're done with that, we're gonna nominate our ultimate badass, basically the MVP of the first half based on that list. So I think you said, did we have first base was first on the list?
Yeah,
Makes sense.
We're starting at the number 3 position, first base.
All right.
That for those of you who don't know that is based on scoring.
Yes,
on the scoring a game. All right, so I'm going to start at your lowest ranked person at the position and work our way up. I would say outside of like probably outfield, this position is got a lot of guys who if someone was having an off season would probably be in the race of winning this title. But
it's a deep position.
It's a pretty deep position with everyone in double digit homers. So pulling in at the bottom, not surprising, it's a White Sox player. It's Miguel Vargas with 10 homers, 34 RBIs, 750 OPS, and he's snuck in 3 stolen bases this year. So,
and I kind of looked at RBI a little bit here and there as a comparison, but I also took into account, what kind of offense they were surrounded by. So I think 34 RBI is pretty respectable for Vargas on the White Sox. So I didn't hold that against him. That's not why I put him in last, but it's like you said, it's just a deep position.
Coming up next from my San Francisco Giants, Wilmer Flores, 11 homers, 54 RBI, 726 OPS, and a stolen base. Next from Sacramento, or should I just say from the Athletics?
Yeah, you're not supposed to say a city.
Yes.
They frown upon that.
Rookie sensation Nick Kurtz, 10 homers, 25 RBIs, 811 OPS, and nothing on the base paths. And then from Cub, Michael Busch, pretty good numbers here, 12 homers, 44 RBIs, 869 OPS, and 3 stolen bases. He does kind of own the OPS category in this position. Debate. I mean, like in aggressive fashion, because you have, of course, no surprise here, probably with 5 home runs, you'd have him listed number 1. Spencer Torkelson with 16 homers, 49 RBI, 800 OPS, 69 points lower than Michael Busch, and a stolen base.
Still, it's 800 OPS is very impressive. The 16 bombs. He's the feel-good return story of the season. Comeback player. But yeah, you're right. I could have put Michael Busch, and I wouldn't stop you if you wanted to put Michael Busch as our first base badass of the first half. But I don't know. It's up to you.
I feel better putting Spencer Torkelson there. One, because he's not on the Cubs. even though he is on the
Okay,
Tigers.
you can't hold the Cubs against. I
Uh,
tried not to hold the White
but
Sox or Giants
but
against my rankings, but
but he's also, to your point, it's an incredible, just incredible turnaround for this kid.
mm-hmm.
He was basically told, "You're like, we're not sure what we're gonna do with you," and he said, "Well, wait, just hold that thought."
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm good with Spence.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
I like that. Spencer Torkelson, you are our first base badass of the first half.
All right. So
Go
that's
around the horn to
yeah,
second
moving
base.
going to
Whoa.
second base. This is real crazy how we're doing this. Um, so we're gonna go with Tyler Fitzgerald, with 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, a 609 OPS, but 9 stolen bases. So
Yeah.
not a terrible showing. Um,
Second base is really disappointing in general.
yeah. Power Man today, Lenine Sosa.
Yes.
I mean, we're not doing. I know we're not doing updated stats, but it would certainly change because it wouldn't be fair to the other guys. But he
Right.
moves up to number 2 on the home run list after today.
I
Because
actually I pulled these numbers after Monday's games because we thought we were going to record yesterday, so I didn't even get last night's stats, let alone
yeah,
today's stats. But yes, if you would like to change your vote based on the last 2 days versus the rest of the first half,
that's
I
right. I am.
understand.
I'm changing my vote. I'm making Lenine Sosa the second baseman because he's now has 6 home runs,
Okay.
20 RBIs, and I have no idea what his OPS is, and a stolen base and a caught stealing today.
What was his OPS? What did
Six
I have this?
seventy four.
Okay, that's better than I thought. I was thinking it might be in the fives, but
Next on the list is Nico Horner with no
oh,
homers, 31
zero. He
RBIs.
just hit a home run last night. Of
There you
course, his
go. So
first home
one
run of the year.
homer,
Yeah.
33 RBI maybe.
Okay.
OPS maybe bigger than 6084, but 14 stolen bases. So that's
Yeah, he's contributing on the base pass, but
up next
that's why I
is
find it was curious that Major League Baseball doesn't include stolen bases in the stats they show for people, like just the surface level stats. They just don't value it, which I think is stupid.
well, yeah, it is stupid. Lewis Urias, 7 homers, 17 RBI, 733 OPS, 2 stolen bases. And this turns out to be pretty easy.
Mm.
Another player who I've really enjoyed, who I always thought was going to be like a superstar, never quite happened with the Yankees, but he seems to be coming into his own with the Tigers. Gleyber Torres with 7 homers, 38 RBIs, 804 OPS, 804 OPS
Yeah.
as a second baseman.
Well,
Come
and
on.
he's leading the Major League All Star balloting, not just ours, for second
And
base. He's going to
and
win it. So
and 4 stolen bases. So I'm fine with Gleyber Torres.
he has just been so steady, just a confident at bat. Anytime he comes up, I feel like something good's going to happen, or he'll have a quality at bat if it doesn't produce necessarily. So he's looked great in a Tigers uniform. You know, he never, like you said, he never quite lived up to the billing necessarily in New York for whatever reason, but he's a professional second baseman. I guess is the best way to put it. With an OPS over 800, I would have been happy with over 700 out of my second baseman. So he's he's everything the Tigers could have. So could want. So we've got 2 Tigers already on our badass of the first half list. So this is
Well,
amazing.
it does make sense though. They are the first team to 50 wins. They
They
were
are the
also
best team in baseball.
I learned today that also makes them the first team to 40 and to 30 wins. So
They
hey,
were,
there you go.
yes.
There you go. All right. I'm gonna move over to shortstop. Just go around the diamond here.
All right.
Pulling in at the bottom there is a Trey Sweeney with 4 homers, 23 RBI, 593 OPS,
That
and 2 stolen bases.
he is the weak link of the Tigers offense essentially. That's a position that fortunately we've also got Javi Baez that can play shortstop, but he is not listed as a shortstop in this by the Major League Baseball. So yeah, as high as I just was over the first 2 positions, that's about as bad as the Tigers get at shortstop.
Coming up next is one of my favorite players right now, Chase Meardroth. Two
Your
homers,
boy.
9 RBIs, 673 OPS, 9 stolen bases. Something that isn't put on the stat is I think he's only not reached base in like 10 games this year. So
Wow.
it's
He
kind
was
of
a
fucking crazy.
I know he
So
was a Tiger killer. He was on base constantly. You were sending me updates as I was
yeah,
watching,
I was
as
updating.
if I needed it. But thank you.
I was updating his average for you because it was
Yeah,
so high. The average was so
but
high.
he was like just on base, even if he wasn't hitting, he'd walk or whatever. I think he was on base like nine out of 11 times. It was crazy.
Coming up next, which is a nice surprise because he started off a little slow for the Giants, is Willie Adames with 9 homers, 33 RBI, 641 OPS, and 3 stolen bases. He's not living up to
Yikes!
what
That,
happened last year, but
that
he's
OPS is just shocking.
starting to pick it up a little bit. So
Okay,
we'll see what happens moving forward.
ballpark
Uh,
factor. You think that's
yeah,
an
I
issue
think a
for
little
him?
bit,
Okay.
like, but I don't know. You find, don't you see it a lot lately? The guy comes in with a big contract. His first
Yeah.
year is sort of like, and then
Yeah.
his next year he's back to normal. So
Yeah. That happens a lot. You're
it's
right.
weird. I mean, look at Juan Soto right now.
Mm,
Um,
let's not.
love that one. Dansby Swanson, 14. I mean, this is a huge turnaround from last year, right?
Yeah.
14 homers, 39 RBI, 712 OPS, and 7 stolen bases. But again, a crazy ass OPS for a shortstop from he's on the Athletics, right? Jacob Wilson.
He certainly is. He's also on the Capital City Dirtbags.
Oh, fuck off. 9 home runs, 40 RBIs, 883 OPS.
Yeah.
Yeah, higher than the highest OPS we've talked about today so far, and
He
five
hits.
stolen bases.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I begrudgingly give another one of your teams a position
Yeah. It's got to
on
be.
on
Got
the
to be
all
the A's.
the
Yeah. I'm
all
surprised.
the All
Also,
Star asshole team.
yeah. And I wasn't sure if an A was going to make our team. We had to make sure they were represented somehow. But yeah, it came up quickly that Jake Wilson is certainly a worthy badass of the first half.
Well, just for the sake of conversation, I will go over third base stats, except for the easy winner. But because this is abysmal. This is a position that is
Yeah.
all our teams outside of the Giants have issues
Honestly,
at, and
third
even
base is kind of weak across the majors. The more you look into it, it's kind of a dearth of talent. That's why, I mean, going into the season, both my Tigers and Cubs were talking about getting help at third base, and they did not get that. And if they had landed somehow Alex Bregman, he's hurt, so that he would have been easily the best third baseman in baseball, I think. So it's weird. It's kind of a forgotten position almost.
um yeah, and it's not like the White Sox have like a third baseman. They play so many people over there, but
I
I
was
know
wondering about that.
they have to
'Cause-
pick someone on the ballot because
Yeah, I guess I
honestly,
could have gone off ballot, but yeah, I didn't know what else to do other than grab it right from
yeah, it's
MLB.
funny. It's funny they put Vargas at first on the ballot because he's really
Yeah,
played third more than first.
that's what
So,
I. So
but whatever.
what can you
Uh,
do?
so we'll go with the very um a player I'm not totally clear why he, I guess just because he's a veteran, why he plays as much as he does for the White Sox. But Josh Rojas, 0 homers, 6 RBI, 44 OPS, 4 stolen bases.
Sorry, I had to put him on the list.
Fall
But,
asleep. Up next, Matt Shaw with 2 homers, 9 RBIs,
yeah,
611 OPS, 8 stolen bases.
at least he looks like a major league third baseman out on the field. He can actually play the position where everyone else the Cubs have tried at third this year has not looked like a competent professional. So his offensive numbers are not what you want, but he's not costing them in the field necessarily. So that's why Matt Shaw is there.
Uh, Miguel Andujar, 3 home runs, 20 RBI, 730 OPS, 1 stolen base. That's for the Athletics. The surprising play of one Zach McKinstry this year, although he looked like he was going to have some pretty good power numbers. I guess from a home run standpoint, but that kind of
Yeah.
he had his like week, and then it all kind of went away.
He had a good first 2 months, and he's kind of
Yeah.
tailed off. He's a career utility player. He actually was with the Cubs for a while, but yeah, for the Tigers, he's been really solid. He's definitely tailed off in the last month. But yeah, I wouldn't count on those power numbers continuing. What were his numbers again?
4 homers, 21 RBIs, 778 OPS, 8
Mm.
stolen bases. I mean, he bats like 7th or something in the
Yeah,
lineup
he's
or something.
down in the order, but
Yeah. So this will be easy. San Francisco Giants, Matt Chapman, 12 homers, 30 RBIs, 812 OPS, 7 stolen bases. I think it's a no-brainer. Matt
that was
Chapman,
an easy one. There you go.
third base.
Ding, 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 ding. There's a Pete player right
That's
there.
right. All
Badass
right.
the first half.
Let's move over to catcher. Some interesting stuff here.
Yeah.
All right. So pulling up the rear, not surprising. Giants have definitely had a hole there since
Can't find a way to replace Buster Posey.
Yeah.
Buster Posey can't replace himself.
I know. Maybe he should sign himself and get down there. Patrick Bailey. These are some impressive stats.
I had never heard of it. I forgot that name completely. I didn't even know that was your catcher. So
yeah,
sorry about that.
he was a rookie last year, and then he was like kind of up and down last year.
Okay.
Let's look at these impressive numbers, everyone. You ready? 1 home run, 16 RBI, 531 OPS, and no stolen bases. So there you go.
That's the catcher position.
Yeah. Up next, White Sox rookie Edgar Quero. No homers. He is definitely not hitting or even looking like he's trying to hit for power. He's kind of spraying the ball over the field. 17 RBI, 653 OPS, no stolen bases. Probably winner of best name on this entire list, Dylan Dingler.
Oh yeah. He'll win that. He'll win that contest every year.
For the Tigers, 7 home runs, 31 RBI, 731 OPS, no stolen base. Which is funny. We are bringing up stolen bases for a reason, and we will get to it shortly.
Exactly.
Now, the most surprising name on this list that, at least in the position, he would have been on the list because he's on the Cubs, but Carson Kelly. 9 home runs, 26 RBI, and 828 OPS.
Yeah, he had, I think in the first 2 months, he had like a 1600 OPS. It was ridiculous what was happening. That has definitely tailed off, but his prodigious first couple months was plenty to put him at the top of the list, in my mind at least.
And finally, Shea Langoliers.
Yeah.
10 homers, 27 RBI, 730 OPS, and that's right, guys. The catcher, 4 stolen bases.
Yeah. I went back and forth with Langoliers and Kelly. I could definitely go either way. The OPS was definitely based on numbers earlier in the first half. I guess it doesn't matter though. Like it's just that we're counting the whole first half. So
I mean, I kind of lean towards Carson Kelly in this one.
Actually, that would be our first Cub then, wouldn't it be? We've already had a athletic. So yeah, let's even it out with.
Well, that's probably going to change in a quick second.
Okay,
for obvious reasons, but yeah, I would put Carson Kelly there.
Okay, I think that probably makes sense. I don't remember how I was putting that list together. I put Shea Langoliers ahead, but that was foolish. Let's go with Carson Kelly.
You're giving him some cred for those 4 stolen bases. Which
I think that's what I got fired up about stolen bases for a minute there.
All right. So now we're going to pick 3 people from this list.
Of outfielders.
Outfielders. This list is going to take a minute.
Yeah, there's, of course, there'd be 15 nominees, 3 at each of the 5 teams we cover. I just put them all in. I was thinking about eliminating it, but fuck it. Why don't we just talk about all of them from the bottom up?
All right. So we'll start with, not a surprise, Michael A. Taylor. 4 homers, 17 RBI, 648 OPS. 7 stolen bases, though. Nice to see. Lewis Robert Jr., who only made it through the top of the first today before he left with tightness in his hamstring.
Oh, boy. There it is again.
7 home runs, although he actually has 8 now because he had one last night. 32 RBI, 573 OPS, unbelievable.
Oh.
But 22 stolen bases.
The stolen bases
is second in the league.
I could have moved him up the list on that, but his OPS, he's he's supposed to be a power hitter. That's
Yeah,
what in the
terrible.
world?
Jung Ho Lee, who's kind of like Carson Kelly in a way, was like had a 1200 OPS for the first couple months. It's kind of tailored off.
Yeah.
6 home runs, 34 RBI, 724 OPS, 6 stolen bases for the Giants. JJ Bleday, I don't know, some of that name makes me laugh.
It sounds like a bloody bidet.
Yeah,
I
maybe
was
that's
thinking
what
about
it
that
is.
yesterday.
He's got 8 homers, 22 RBI, 664 OPS, 1 stolen base. Yaz, Mike Yastrzemski, 6 homers, 26 RBI, 742 OPS, 5 stolen bases. Andrew Benintendi had a home run today. So that puts him at 932 RBI, I think, 739 OPS. Pretty good bounce back season for him. It's probably
$75 million.
Yes, finally getting close to earning it. Javi Baez, talk about finally earning a paycheck. How much is that per year?
6 years, 140. So yeah, it's a
that's
lot.
way worse than the Benintendi contract.
Yeah.
9 home runs.
Except he's actually producing now. So
well, so is Benintendi. 9
on
home
a
runs,
last place team.
36 RBIs, and an 801 OPS with 1 stolen base.
Who would have thought that Javi would be not like on the All-Star ballot for the outfield? Like it's never happened until this season. He played a tremendous center field for the Tigers in his time when they had all 3 of their center fielders were out for various reasons. So he held it down for like probably close to 4 weeks and didn't have any missteps. And in fact, made some incredible plays in center field. And he's been hitting the ball. He's not quite at the level he was a couple weeks ago, but just another renaissance story in Detroit. People are actually calling him Javi Baez or El Mago. That those names. He is no longer Javier Baez or Javier Baez is the other name they started calling him. But Javi's being Javi again. It's really cool to see because I've talked about this ad nauseum, but
Sure have.
Being a Cubs fan, I saw what you knew who El Mago was, and Detroit never saw that until this first half. So he's not quite to the level of first half badass for our outfield, but I think he would have been for shortstop if Major League Baseball had placed him there. So sorry, go ahead.
What is he, year 3 of the Tigers contract?
This is 4.
So it took him 4 years to learn how to play baseball again. Interesting.
He had hip surgery in the offseason, so
we'll
that's talk
right.
about that.
Kerry Carpenter, 13 homers, 27 RBI, 729 OPS, 1 stolen base.
Ian? Carp,
yeah.
like, he got off to a really hot start and has not done hardly anything over the last month. So that's a little disturbing. Although he had a home run yesterday, actually. So
yeah, there's these home runs. All these home runs were happening. Well,
a lot happened last night that I missed, and I didn't have the time or energy to recalculate the stats today. So I'm sorry.
I don't think it's really gonna. I don't think any of them make a world of difference for this.
Okay.
Ian Happ, 11 homers, 37 RBI, 749 OPS, 4 stolen bases, and a podcaster. So we have to add that in
the compound.
Yes. Lawrence Butler, 11 homers.
Former Lansing Lugnut, current 30 Oclamento A.
Oclamento A.
Yeah.
11 homers, 32 RBI, 771 OPS, 11 stolen bases.
Also a Capital City dirtbag.
Anyway.
First place.
Tyler Soderstrom,
I believe.
14 homers, 45 RBI, 775 OPS, 5 stolen bases. All right, now the list gets interesting.
What number are we at now? We've counted down. We started at 15. We're moved up to.
We've got the final 4. Or so we're about to enter.
Right. This is where it gets tough.
Now we're talking. Heliot Ramos, 13 homers, 43 RBIs, 835 OPS, 5 stolen bases. Probably, I don't know. We're not counting this, but I know you're talking about clutch fucking home runs. This guy, he's so fucking clutch for.
They didn't have
Giants.
the clutch stat listed, so I was looking for that, but I couldn't find that.
This guy's having a pretty good year. His 1 year with the Cubs. Kyle Tucker, 15 home runs, 46 RBIs, a 912 OPS,
Yeah.
and 18 stolen bases because everything else wasn't good enough.
I
You gotta
didn't.
swipe
Yeah,
18 bags,
I didn't realize
dude.
he had that many stolen bases already too. And I feel like he hasn't even scratched the surface of what he can be doing with the Cubs at Wrigley Field. So I think I'm looking for an even bigger second half out of Kyle Tucker.
Coming up next, a defensive phenom, Riley Green. This guy in I watched him against the White Sox steal a home run, make an incredible catch in the corner. He's he's
It's every day.
he's yeah,
That was
he's
not just against your White Sox. He's
no, I
doing
know.
that shit all. And he was actually they were talking about it on the broadcast last night. He was told coming through the minors that he was not a very good outfielder. He just got pissed about it and became a very good outfielder through the help of the
Well,
Tigers coaching staff. So
not only is a good defensive outfielder, he's a
yeah,
good offensive outfielder. 17 home runs, 59 RBI, 875 OPS,
yeah,
and hey, he's got a stolen base.
he's a potential MVP candidate when it comes down to it. If the Tigers do what I hope they do and what they're on pace to be doing, he is the leader in the clubhouse, offensively, defensively, everywhere. He's living up to all the billing, and it's super cool to see. I just need to keep him healthy.
But now let's look at the most obnoxious outfield stats. Like,
Yeah,
probably like, it's not Aaron Judge numbers from a home run standpoint, but close. But I mean, Pete Crow Armstrong, did the Mets
Lord.
did the Mets look back on it and say, wow, we did
2
that.
months of Javi Baez.
2 months of Javi Baez, or we could have had this on the team we have right now.
Yeah. I don't even know who's playing center field for them right now, but it's not Pete Crow Armstrong.
It's not this. All right, you guys ready? You sitting down? This dude. We were so sketch on him last year because he's acting like he had already won an MVP, and his attitude.
Even in spring training this year, I was negative on it because he had the fucking weird hair. Like I don't think he had blue hair this year. I think he had stars in his hair and just like calling way too much attention to himself. And he was making simple mistakes in the outfield, and which he did last night. Actually, he forgot how many outs there were and gave up eventually the game winning run, which is. But I digress. We're talking about how great Pete Crow Armstrong is offensively.
21 home runs, not bad. 61 RBIs already. 877 OPS. But then, if that's not enough, he's got 23 stolen bases, guys. I mean,
he's the fastest Cub in history to get 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases. He passed, wait for it, Sammy Sosa. Which of course came up this weekend. But so he was faster to those numbers by like 17 games or something like that. So
I'm surprised Sammy didn't like take his knee out or something.
The spotlight needs to be on him.
Yeah, I know.
But I think PCA is kind of the similar personality where the spotlight needs to be on him, which is kind of fucking annoying. But I think it's obvious that PCA needs to be our center fielder at least for the first half badasses.
Yeah, Riley Green's in left, right?
Yep.
Where I don't even know where.
Kyle Tucker's right field. So I didn't do that on purpose. It just worked out perfectly. And MLB they just put outfield.
Yeah,
they don't do positions specifically. So that made sense to me right there. Unless you wanted to throw in I forget the Giants.
Heliot Ramos.
Yeah, Ramos.
No, I mean I just don't think it's as balanced as Kyle Tucker, since they're probably closest to one another in a way, or even Riley Green. I'm fine with Pete Crow, Riley Green, and Kyle Tucker being the outfield.
I think it's the definitive outfield for our first half badasses.
All right, now the conversation gets a little more interesting.
Yeah, DH.
So
I love it. It's so refreshing. Just remember those days when there was not a DH in the National League and how stupid that was for 50 fucking years.
Yes.
Sorry.
But without that, I wouldn't have been able to give the fun fact that the Rockies offense's OPS this year is the same as Carlos Zambrano. So it does lend itself to some comedic value.
That is the most perspective you have ever given me on any of my ridiculous opinions. That's fantastic. And you've also like tied this podcast in a bow perfectly. That was some tremendous podcasting right there.
All right.
Bravo.
Bravo. Let me applaud myself. I am MVP. So I mean,
You're
what
MVP for a reason.
yeah, what would you expect? Anything less? I don't think so. Okay, coming up the rear, but not terrible. Mike Talkman, who is the Sox leadoff hitter right now.
Is he really?
Yeah, just because because he gets on base a lot, as you will see.
I think he might be a big trade candidate at the deadline, actually.
For sure. He was roping the ball all over the field today. He had 3 hits today. 4 homers, 14 RBIs, 829 OPS. No,
does he exclusively do DH for you, or does he move around?
Only right now because he's having some issues, but he'll be back in the outfield once that's cleared up. Colt Keith, 6 home runs, 24 RBI, 733 OPS.
He's starting to turn it on. He had a slow first month and a half or so, and he's starting to figure it out. Colt Keith is he's a potential second half beast. I would look for him as we go forward to be putting up big numbers.
All right. Well, we will be on the lookout for that. And if he doesn't, I will bring this up.
Remember this?
I will remember this moment and bring it up. Brent Rooker, 15, actually 16 homers after the other night. 40
That's right.
RBI or more than that. 833 OPS and 2 stolen bases. I'm shocked that he has 2 stolen bases, but hey.
That puts him third in this list. Those numbers are incredible. I mean, wow.
All right. Now the real debate occurs.
Yeah, this is
my guy. One of my favorite players in MLB, now a San Francisco Giant. The babyface assassin, Rafael Devers.
Is that his real nickname? Or are you calling him that?
No, that's his real nickname. That's because he does have a baby face and is a clutch hitter. He could be considered what they call a clutch hitter.
All right, there's that clutch stat I keep missing.
16 home runs, 61 RBIs, 889 OPS. Yeah. I think that's the winner of OPS in this list.
And he struck out like his first 12 at bats of the season. Like,
yes.
Just imagine if he had a couple more hits in that.
And possibly, I don't know if he qualifies as a comeback player also, like Torkelson would, because of his dismal first, or I don't know if it's completely dismal, but just rocky first season with the Cubs. But Seiya Suzuki, 20 home runs, 64 RBI.
Oh.
He has a very low OPS at 846 compared to Rafael Devers, 889.
Okay.
But he does have one more stolen base. 2.
I think we can cross off the stolen base list. So you've got Devers has the higher OPS by quite a bit. What are the home run totals again?
20 to 16 and 64 to 61. I mean,
that's a push there. So it came kind of balancing the home runs to OPS. So I could certainly see Devers. I think it was the home runs that I put Seiya on top, but I think we can put Devers in there if that's the direction you wanted to go.
It would really make me happy if we had Rafael Devers on this team.
I think you could see why there would be a debate, but I'm not gonna cry about that. I think that's a fine representative for a DH first half badasses.
All right.
So now we've gone around the diamond. We've gone through the outfield and the DH slot. We didn't have any White Sox, did we?
No, I just don't.
I don't think that's a surprise, but it just dawned on me.
We might be able to sneak one in next week at pitcher.
Okay. Yeah, we did not do pitchers. I don't know if I just mentioned this on the air or not, but of course they're not on the All-Star ballot, and I didn't want to look up, just try to figure out what pitchers we're talking about and then look up everyone's stats. We'll do that next week. I'll have time to go through all those. So that'll be our second half of our first half badass discussion. But so now we should talk about who our ultimate badass is.
I mean, is this even worth a conversation? It's obviously Pete Crow Armstrong.
I mean, you sent me the text after he made that catch in the outfield. I think it was on Wednesday night last week. And then 3 minutes later hit a bomb off the fucking video board.
Yeah.
At that point, Pat Hughes is quoted as saying, "It's like we're watching a movie and PCA is the star."
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. That was kind of his if he's had multiple moments like that, but that was just a ridiculous 3 minutes specifically. But yeah, I know you were impressed by the video board shot.
Yeah, I didn't know the other part of it. Um, although I will say that play he did make a few minutes later, or
Before,
whatever
yeah.
order it happened, it did remind me a little bit of the Eloy Lewis Robert exchanges in the outfield, because whoever was playing left for you was kind of there, but Armstrong was coming over full speed, so they just got out of the way and let him
Well,
take it.
and
So
that's center field,
yeah,
deference, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like, well, I think the left fielder could have made that play, but oh well.
It looked cool.
It looked cool though.
it's
Yeah.
it's good for the story too.
Yeah.
So the movie plot.
Yes. All right.
Wow. Well, that was fun. I think we will continue this every year. I think we should do this exact same exercise at the end of the year, basically doing our MVPs and all season team at the end of the season. Coming up in October, if you want.
Rocktober?
Badass.
Rocktober?
We'll kind of change. Like we've done a badass of the year. We do our asshole of the year, of course, but we could do our badass of the year, but make that the ultimate badass from the year, essentially. Carry on this format at least. Well, that was fun. Good work.
Yes. We got through all the stats. We did. I think considering getting through the outfielders like that, I thought we did a pretty good time.
Yeah, I probably don't have to list 15 outfielders, but
I
we
think
could adjust that if we need to. Maybe top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely should have. We probably could have lopped off that whole.
That's
At
a lot of
least,
whites. There's a
yeah.
lot of White Sox I was lopping off there, though.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
felt bad about that.
we could have moved. We could have thrown Robert on just because of stolen bases, or could have just left Benintendi on maybe. But it
Yeah,
started at
he would have made
Benintendi.
the top 10. You're right.
Yeah, so.
Word Hole Media.